Thought today that I would do a little bit of a Friday reflection. Something that you might already know is that I'm making a commitment to YouTube in the build up to my 40th, which is next May. What I've done is I've set myself a little bit of a goal of hitting 100 vlogs/videos in that time. And that's forcing me to do things that I don't necessarily want to do. And this week it's all been, about those decisions. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it. But this is also the importance of making a commitment. And something that Les Brown said is commitment is doing the thing that you said you would do long after the minute you said it has passed. So I'll get into that in a little bit on this Friday reflection. But if you are looking at this Friday reflection and you're thinking, cool, I haven't actually done kind of a weekly debrief or even a monthly debrief or even a yearly debrief, then this might be the opportunity for you to do so. In about 25 minutes, I catch up with my elite clients, and every Friday we gather for an hour, and what I do is ask them, what are your 3 wins from this week, and have you got any lessons that you can share with the group? And this is such an important thing, because when you're just putting your head down and you're just trying to succeed and go for it and dominate, then sometimes you forget to celebrate the wins. And the last thing that you want is what's known as horizon level thinking. And why I call it that is if you run towards a horizon and you keep pushing forward, it never gets any smaller. And it's not until you turn around that you see how far you've come. And it's such an important thing to do on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, and most importantly on a yearly basis, if self-development and becoming a better individual is important to you, which of course it should be. So my wins and lessons from this week. One of the things that was really exciting for me is getting the finished product of our new greens drink. And if you were on my stories this week, you might have seen a little bit of a hint. We've been working for 6 months on this, and this came out of a little bit of pain. The fact that I saw Athletic Greens is now charging for a one-time 30-serving purchase 90 odd quid. 90 odd quid, which is ridiculous considering you don't actually know how much of each quantity of ingredient is in it. And the primary ingredient, apart from apple powder, is spirulina. And with our greens powder, I guarantee we have at least twice, if not 3 times more of their main ingredient for a fraction of the price. So I'm excited to be revealing that officially for sale next year. So really happy with that. One of the things also that I have become very happy about this week has been complete clarity on where I want to go next year with my business. Of course, I'm very much focused on giving the best health supplements on the market next year, but also helping to change lives. And one important thing that's happening with me next year is I'm approaching 40. I'm going to be 40 next May. And that involves me personally having a little bit of a change up on who it is that I want to help. And the reality is I'm already helping a lot of people who are like 40 plus, but I really want to dial that in, because a lot of people look at 40 years of age as kind of past it. And this is where a lot of people think it's all downhill from here. But in actual fact, I completely disagree with that. I think 40 is a great time of your life to reinvent yourself, to re-energize yourself, and to completely change your life. And anybody who is approaching 40 or past 40, they're the people that I really, really want to help live a very healthy and happy life. So I've got a lot more clarity on that. The next one is crypto lessons. Now, I'm not going to sit here talking about me knowing anything about crypto. All I will do is say that about 3 years ago, I was going a bit crazy on the old crypto. Okay, I was jumping on the bandwagon for a year and I invested very heavily in it. And there was a pinnacle moment where I should have 3 years ago just taken my profits and left. Just taken everything that I'd made, just left. But for some strange reason, I didn't. And because of that, there was what's known as a bear market. For those of you who don't know what a bear market and a bull market are, a bull market is when things go up and a bear market is when things go down. And when it comes to crypto, you have kind of 3 or 4 years of each one. So you have maybe about a year in a bull market, everything going up, and then you have about 3 to 4 years, sometimes 5 years in a bear market. And I very much jumped on the bandwagon of the bull market, thought it was always going to be going to the moon, and then I've just been suffering for the last 3 years in that bear market. And finally, we're kind of out of that and everything is trending up. And the lessons that I learned from that very painful 3 years is a couple that everybody talks about. And this is the same, whether it's crypto, whether it's anything that you do in life. time in the market is more important than time in the market. And what they mean by that is if you're trying to get rich quick on certain shit coins and meme coins, not that I was doing that, then you're looking for quick wins and you're looking to get success quickly. And this is very much like crypto. This is also very much like weight loss. People are looking for that magical weight loss pill, be it Ozempic, which is out now. They're looking for this miracle diet that they can achieve results as quickly as humanly possible. But what happens with that is very much like I have been suffering for the last 3 years, is that I didn't really learn, and I needed to face some harsh lessons to truly realize that I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. And now, of course, I've been beaten down a little bit. I'm a lot more wiser, and those lessons will not repeat themselves. And if they do, of course, I didn't learn those lessons. So when it comes to anything, don't look for quick wins. Look for sensible wins. Look for patience. Look for consistency. Look for persistence, okay? And of course, when it comes to any kind of investment, don't invest anything that you can't afford losing. I was very fortunate that I didn't actually need, what I invested in. I could have done with it, but of course, it's been a painful 3 years and finally just kind of breaking back to even. So that is some big lessons on crypto. The next one that I want to talk about is alcohol. So I'm obviously, this pisses a lot of people off, is that I'm very pro alcohol, as much as a lot of people think that that is insane. And I'm pro alcohol with myself, not with other people. Something that I say to a lot of people, pretty much everyone, is if you can't reduce something down, then you need to remove it completely. So if there's certain sweets or foods in your cupboard that you just can't help but eat the whole packet, then try reducing it down. And if you can't, it needs to be out the way. And same with alcohol. If you cannot reduce your alcohol down and you can't moderate it, you need to remove it completely from your life. And I'm telling you now, is if you do, you'll probably 99% have a better life. Now, some of the thing that I always say is that, I go for periods of time of not drinking, and then I go back to it and I'm like, I love alcohol. And I do. I really, really do. And I have been sober now, as in not drinking, which is what sober means, Jay. Come on, for 5 weeks. And I keep saying to myself, it hasn't really changed my life. And if anything, it's made me a little bit more boring. I'm going to sleep a lot earlier on the weekends. And it can have a negative knock-on effect with my relationship. And a lot of people think, why is that? Because I very much use alcohol on the weekends to have a couple of bottles of wine with the wife, catch up with a movie, stay up a bit later and have a chat. And, we have a little bit of fun with that. We kind of use that Friday night, sometimes Saturday night to reconnect. If I'm not drinking, I tend to get tired and want to go to bed and want to get up early. So there are things that need sorting with that, of course, but a little bit of that, a little bit of advice is not a bad thing, especially as sometimes the physical benefits might be a little bit at a disadvantage on the weekend. The actual mental benefits and relationship benefits are massively, massively beneficial. And I know I have some people there and go, well, you can do other things, this, that, and the other. And I'm saying, yes, you can. But nothing beats going without alcohol 5, 6, 7 weeks, having that first glass of wine. The second glass is shit, the third glass is shit, but that first glass, and it adds to good things come to those that wait. And one of the things that I'm kind of saying to myself now is, Jay, you are better as a human being without alcohol in your life. You are. The last 5 weeks, I've had a lot less anxiety, a lot less stress, even though my actual habits and routines in my life haven't really changed. I've been able to deal with things a lot better. And the only thing that I've kind of taken away from the equation in the last 5 weeks has been alcohol. It's a bit of a slap in the face with me saying, this, that, and the other. Next year, I'm not giving up alcohol. But one thing that I am going to be doing is seriously reducing it and only having it for very special occasions rather than a Friday and Saturday night. So that's what I'll say about alcohol. The next thing I want to talk about is YouTube. I'm speaking to you today because I haven't been vlogging for the last couple of days with my camera, but I've made a commitment to doing these vlogs. And I thought, what would be really good to do today? A Friday reflection where I just chat away at some of the lessons that I learned from this week, some of the wins that I've achieved this week, and what I hope for this video, what I hope, some of you don't know, I'm streaming live on Instagram on this, is that you take a little bit of time on a Friday just to look back on the week. You might have had a good week, you might have had a shit week, but they are all things which you can learn from. If you've had a good week, ask yourself why you've had a good week, and then make sure that you do those things next week. If you've had a shit week, ask yourself why, and then make a note of them so you don't do the same things the following week. Something I just said in this video, a lesson will repeat itself until it's learned, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So reflect. What went right this week? What went wrong? And what focus are you going to make to improve next week? And the final one before we finish this is cold plunges. Now, I've never really struggled with cold plunges, as in getting up early, jumping in my cold plunge and getting it done. As much as I don't want to do it, I always get it done. But this week has been difficult. I've wanted to do it every single morning, but the weather has turned. It's got a lot colder. And as Joe Rogan would call it, the little inner bitch has created excuses why I haven't got time to do it, even though it takes 2 or 3 minutes to do. And I probably spend more time scrolling on my phone in the morning than I do obviously doing a cold plunge. But it's just the whole ritual and dance that you spend, stripping your clothes off, getting outside in the cold, and then obviously jumping in ice cold water. How I'm going to solve that is in December, I'm going to reprogram all of my habits and do a daily dip. So every single day from the 1st of December to the 31st of December, I'm going to get cold every single day. I'm going to hold myself accountable for that as well. I already have, because of course I've just spoken to you, and it reminds me of something that Bob Proctor says, which I say every single week. Accountability is the glue that ties the commitment to the result. So if you are struggling to do something, like me being consistent with my cold plunges, I just hold myself more accountable, because then I know that I've made a commitment because it's important and I'll do it. So 1st of December, I'm still going to be doing my cold plunges throughout November, but every single day, whether it's a sea dip or a cold plunge, I'm going to be getting cold every single day and ticking it off my sheet. And of course, from that, I'll be getting back into the daily habit of getting cold, which I know benefits me both physically and mainly mentally. So that is it for my Friday reflections. I think these are important to look at. There's lots of wins there, there's lots of lessons there, and lots of things that I'm excited about finishing off this year and going into 2025. And I can't wait to share all of that of my journey with you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll try and do more of these kind of frequent Friday reflections. I think they're not only valuable for me, hopefully valuable for you too. And I hope you enjoyed that. I will catch you all very, very soon. And as always, adios, amigos.